Hi friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. I am so glad you all stopped by today, and I really hope you enjoy my video. But first of all, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Brenda and this is my Oliver, and if you're returning, well, you know we love you. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here's DIY number one. So for this DIY, I am going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color white and my Waverly antique wax. This is some leftovers of a table scatter that I have in my stash. This is some jumbo craft sticks from Walmart. Then these wood craft hanging pieces from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 4 of those. And then I'm going to use a picture from this 2023 Farmers Market calendar from Dollar Tree. So I forgot to hit record, but basically what I did is I just laid those 4 wood pieces together and then took my craft sticks and used wood glue and hot glue to make them all one. Once I was done with that, I'm taking my spackling here and I'm going to fill all but 2 of the holes because I wanted to keep 2 of the holes open for the hanger. And then once I had them all filled and I sanded off any extra and made sure it was all clean, I painted the front and the back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then after it was all dry, I am going to take way too long showing you how to add Mod Podge onto the front of my picture. I don't know why I showed so much of this, but just call it being crazy because I've been trying to get everything done before my grandsons come, and this I'm having to work on while my grandsons are here. But that's okay, they're asleep. So once that Mod Podge was dry, I took my calendar page. I stuck it on top of my picture here, and I'm just putting some parchment paper over it. It's just the regular parchment paper you use in your kitchen. And then I'm using my heat press to reactivate that Mod Podge so that the calendar page sticks. And after that was all done, I covered it again with some more Mod Podge, and that way it protects that page. Now, when you use Mod Podge, you want to be careful not to use way too much, because if you use too much, it will cause it to bubble. So then I took a paper towel and my antique wax, and I'm just going to go over the edge of the calendar as well as my picture with that antique wax, and then I will brush off the excess. And the reason why I did this, first of all, of course, I love rustic and I love the way that looks, but if you notice, the calendar page has some of that brown around it. And I just thought this would be a perfect way to just blend it all together and make it look a little more like it's one piece. And I really love the way this came out. I just think it is beautiful, and it's got that rustic look that I really, really like. So once it was done, I took some of this ribbon and I am making just a regular shoestring bow. And once I have that done, I will dovetail the ends, and the way you dovetail the ends is you just fold it in half and then cut at an angle. And then after I have this all dovetailed, I'm going to hot glue it in the middle of my sign. And then I'm going to take some of that table scatter and I'm going to add it next to my bow. Now, I have all my Christmas crafting stuff up in our attic, and normally I would take it down in July for Christmas in July. That way I'd have my items to use. But with having my grandsons here, I don't have any place to put all my crafting bins because normally it's in my guest room. So I just using some of this table scatter that I found laying in my stash of stuff. But I did actually order some stuff from Amazon. And so when I was doing this one, I hadn't ordered anything from Amazon yet. But after this picture, I was like, that could have really used something a little bit bigger because it's just a little small. So yeah, I would have added a little bit more greenery here, Christmas greenery, if I didn't have it stored away. So after that was all done, I'm just going to take some of that ribbon. I'm going to thread it through a tapestry needle, and then I'm just going to thread those through the holes. Now, it does take a little bit of wiggling and maneuvering to get it to come through, but once I got it through, I just tied knots on the ends of those, and then we have a nice little hanger. And I love how this came out. It's so simple, but yet it's rustic, and I love rustic. And there it is. I love it. You'll have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. But I figured, I haven't been using these calendars. It's middle of the year. I better start using them, right? Okay, I just want to give a shout out to all my subscribers. You guys all mean the world to me, and I appreciate you so much. And if you're new here, I invite you to hit that red subscribe button before you go. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means the world to me. And then make sure you guys give me that thumbs up, comment, and watch those ads. It really does help my channel, and it pushes my video out for others to see. And then if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find the links to my social media accounts as well as all my affiliate accounts in the description box below. Okay, here's DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. I'm going to use this fabric that I got from Dollar Tree, and then a 2x4 that we had laying around in our garage. So I'm going to start off by marking 3 different sizes. The first size was 8 inches. The second size is going to be 6 inches, and then the last size is 4 inches. Then after I did that, I took it out to my miter saw and cut them all down. And once they were all cut, I painted them all front and back and sides with my Plaster color. After that, I am going to take my antique wax and a sponge brush here, and I am just going over the edges to make it look a little more distressed, and then I just wipe off the excess with my paper towel, and I did this on all of the corners on all of those pieces. Then I'm going to take some hot glue, and that fabric I cut into strips. I don't even think I measured, I just kind of eyed it, and then I just cut a whole bunch of strips out based on how many little squares there were on the fabric. And then I'm just going to hot glue it, and then I'm going to do the same going vertically, going to hot glue some in the middle and go around, and then I realize, oh, this piece is too small, but don't worry, I'm going to hot glue this on, and then I'm just going to take another piece of that fabric that I cut out, and I'm just going to glue it right over top of that and then bring it up to the middle. And then I'll just cut off the fabric and glue it down. And nobody would even know that that was 2 pieces. And then once I was done with that, I took some more of that fabric and I just made some shoestring bows. Now this fabric does fray a lot. I had a lot of little strings everywhere. I was okay with that because I really wanted this to have a more rustic, primitive look. Now I had a subscriber ask me to do some primitive Christmas in July, and I kind of had to look that up because I'm like, okay, so in my mind, primitive and rustic are pretty much the same thing. And so I wanted to look, and primitive is actually more of an old-fashioned, muted colors, kind of more of the darker colors like the maroons and darker greens, stuff like that. And they are a little more simple. I noticed like there's not a lot of big bows and stuff like that, but there's a lot more greenery. So I'm trying to kind of go a little more primitive. This might be a little more rustic primitive maybe, but my next video on the 17th will have a lot more primitive. So I am going to add some of these pieces I got in from Amazon. I ordered them, and I am just hot gluing them to the back of that ribbon. And then also it came, the package I got came with these little berries and came with pine cones and some acorns and some little wood stars. So I just took a few things out here, and I'm just kind of hot gluing them around. And then I took these bells. I ordered these bells as well. They have all kinds of different sizes. I'm excited about these bells. I got some great ideas for Christmas for them, which is only a couple months away of doing Christmas DIYs, you guys. That's just crazy to think about. But anyways, I'm just taking some of the twine that came with it, and I'm tying it around that bell because we all know that hot glue and metal don't like each other. So I didn't want to try and hot glue that bell. So I'm just putting a little bit hot glue, and I'm adding that twine to it. And then I'm doing that right behind that bow, so it kind of hides it. And then I kind of cut that string a little too long. It was hanging. I didn't like how it was hanging. So I'm going to add a little dab of hot glue and just kind of smush that twine into it and then hold it in place. And that's all there was. I did this for all of them. The first one was the biggest one. I did a little bit different, but I really love how these came out. You have to let me know what you think about these as well in the comment box below. Okay, it is a time for celebration of your recreation. And Judy sent all of these beautiful pictures of these beautiful pieces. She's really doing a lot of pizza pan crafts. I love them. And then Sherry, oh, she made some fans for the 4th of July. I love them all. They all turned out beautiful. Thank you, ladies. And if you have a creation or recreation that you would like me to showcase for you, you can send pictures to my email address that's listed there, or you can send them to me through Facebook, Messenger, or Instagram. I am always thrilled to death to see what you guys are making and to share them for you. Okay, here's DIY number 3. So I'm going to use, again, this Tuscan red color by Apple Barrel. I love it. And then I'm going to use some Scrabble tiles, and then this picture frame I got from Dollar Tree. Those Scrabble tiles I got from Amazon. They are in my Amazon store. And then this paper, scrapbook paper, came from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to start off by removing the hanger from the back of this picture frame, and then I'm going to remove the back. I just pull up the clips. Now, when you push these up, you do want to be careful because they do break easy. I have had them break on me in the past. And then I'm going to use my heat gun and my paint scraper to remove that middle piece from that back of the sign. After that, I took that and I laid it on my scrapbook paper, and I'm going to trace it out, and then I cut that paper out so that it fits. Then I'm going to use my school glue here, and I'm just going especially over the edge. I want to make sure there's plenty of glue along the edge so that it sticks, and then I will put some glue all around the middle as well. And after I have this all glued up, I'm going to put my scrapbook paper on it. Now, if you don't have this scrapbook paper, if you have a printer at home, you could definitely download printer music, or sheet music. You could even print out Oh Holy Night if you want to. And then I took my a sander, and I'm just sanding this. You want to be really careful because it is kind of I don't know if it's a paper or if whatever they use is lightweight, because it can kind of tear it. But this has a real shiny sheen to it, and so I wanted to sand it so that it would help the paint adhere. Once I was done sanding it, I did wipe it down, and then I painted it with that Tuscan red. Now, I did have to go over it like 3 times to get that paint to really adhere completely. If it was chalk paint, it probably I wouldn't have needed to do so many coats, but acrylic paint is a little thinner. So after I was done, I put the back in place, and I should have painted the back of the sign. It would have looked much better. And then I took my Scrabble tiles, and I am going to hot glue them in place, and it just says, Oh Holy Night. And after I had that all done, I am going to take, I sure hope I glued that in on a little more straight. I think I do. Anyways, I am going to take some of this table scatter and hot glue 2 pieces in each corner. Now, this table scatter I got a couple of years ago. I think it was at Walmart. It was either Walmart or Hobby Lobby, and I absolutely love this stuff. And this last Christmas, I kept going to both those stores looking to see if I could find any, and nope, I couldn't find any, which really bummed me out because I love it. It's just perfect for some smaller details, and yeah, oh well. Hopefully I can find some this year maybe. So then in the package of stuff that I got from Amazon, excuse me guys, I did get some of these beads, or not beads, these little berries, and I'm hot gluing them in place. They did come with the little wire stems on them, so I'm just going to cut those little stems off with my wire cutters, and then I will hot glue those in the bottom greenery pieces as well. And then once I have that all done, I did take some jute twine, and I tied knots on the end, and then I'm going to hot glue them in the back to make a little hanger. And that's all there was for this. This was really simple, and easy, but I just think it's really pretty. I love that Tuscan red color for Christmas. I love it. Anyways, you have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, here we go with DIY number 4. So another easy one, guys. So this one, I'm going to use this COUTURE transfer. It's called Joy. And then I'm going to use 3 2x4 blocks that I cut down, and I believe they do measure out to be about 3 inches. If you don't have these, or it looks like 3.5. If you don't have these blocks, you could definitely use the foam dice from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use my chalk paste in the color Black Velvet. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Sandstone. And then I'm going to use the Folk Art Antique Green and the Apple Barrel Tuscan Red acrylic paints. No, chalk and acrylic paints. And then I took each one of those paints and painted each one of those blocks with each color, front and back and sides. After they were dry, I'm taking my wax. This is by COUTURE. And I'm just covering the front with it. This is because the wood is so porous and not completely smooth. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice. But the wax just helps the transfer to not bleed, and it helps the the paste go on nicer. So I cut down my Joy word, as you can see, and I'm just going to fuzz it because I haven't used it before. If you're not familiar with COUTURE, it is a adhesive silkscreen stencil. And the reason why we fuzz it the first time we use it is because we don't want it to pull up the paint once we pull it up. So after I have them all fuzzed, I'm just laying them in place where I want them to be. And then I'm going to use my chalk paste, and I'm just going to go over each one of those silkscreen areas. Now, if you are interested in COUTURE and would like to try it, I always suggest the COUTURE Club. It is $21.99 a month. You get an exclusive 8x11 transfer as well as 3 coordinating single paste. And I think it's a great way to try it out and see if you like it. If you do subscribe, you do have to at least subscribe for 3 months before you cancel. But I love using this stuff, and I just always think it makes everything look so professional and high end. And yeah, you'll see that here in just a moment. So after I got my chalk paste on here, you'll see that I'm going to lift my transfer. That's because I don't want the chalk paste to dry on my silk screen, because if it does, then when you pull up your transfer, it will pull up some of that chalk paste and it won't look as nice. So once I had them all done, I went and washed off my transfers right away. That's something you want to do. And then once they were dry, I took my wood glue and I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm going to start adding them together, one on top of the other. Now, I went back and forth on whether or not I should do them next to each other, side by side, or up and down vertically. So I decided to go ahead and do vertically, but you could definitely do this horizontally. Oh my goodness. It's too early in the morning, I think. And I think that would look great too. So after that, I'm going to make a quadruple finger bow, and I'm just wrapping my fingers 4 times with my twine here. And then when you make a finger bow, you always want the tail to be a little long because you're going to need it for wrapping. And after that, I had to kind of position my fingers a little bit better here. But I'm going to take that tail and I'm going to wrap it around those loops that are on my finger. And I'm going to come back around and go through that loop. And then I'm going to tighten. I'm going to leave my fingers in there while I tighten. And then that's all there was for that. And then I'm going to trim off those legs and hot glue that to the top part of my cubes. Then I'm going to take some more of this table scatter. I'm going to hot glue, I think 3 of them to the bottom, making sure that it's not keeping my blocks from being able to stand. And then once I have them on there, I took one of these little snowballs that comes with those table scatter and hot glue that in the bottom as well. And there it is. I love how this came out. I think it's so pretty. I love those colors together. And yeah, I think it looks primitive, don't you? or rustic. I think it looks either way. Okay, here's the final reveal, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this Christmas in July video. I will have one more Christmas in July video for you next Monday, so have those notification bells set. And if you haven't subscribed to me yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go. And make sure you guys give me that thumbs up and comment. I will be back again on Thursday with a little collaboration with my friend May. So make sure you have those notification bells set for that. And I will be in Oregon. But, but with all that, you guys, I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.